Hello and welcome. We at Cognigy just had the great honor of winning the CCV Quality Award 2022 in the category for IT innovation with our offering for conversational IVR. CCV is one of the largest umbrella organizations for call and contact centers in Europe, and today we want to use the opportunity to repeat our award presentation and product demo and share with everybody why conversational IVR is a game changer in the contact center. I'm Sebastian, and with me is Alex, who will run an amazing product demo in just a few minutes. Before we look at conversational IVR, just take a very quick look at Cognigy. What's our mission? We want to create customer and employee service that is loved by everyone. And how do we do that? Based on our software platform, Cognigy AI, which is the world's leading contact center AI platform, which empowers enterprises to add modern AI capabilities to their customer service. Few stats about Cognigy. We are around for about 6 years. Our headquarters is in Düsseldorf, but today we're a global company with operations all over the world and in total 8 offices. We work with more than 500 brands, again, from all over the world, and among these are Mercedes-Benz, Lufthansa Group, Toyota, a couple of insurances and finance institutions, and we are very proud to be called a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant 2022 for enterprise conversational AI platforms, and also be very, very well regarded by many other analyst companies, as well as our customers who often give us excellent ratings on portals like Peer Insights and Capterra. But now let's look at conversational IVR. What is it and why does it matter? So first of all, let's take a look at the classical experiences when a customer calls a contact center. So we call this the standard IVR, and often this is touch tone based, right? This means you can, for example, call your bank with a customer service request, and you're going to be greeted by a machine asking you, hello and welcome, please press 1 or say 1. If you are a new customer, please say or press 2. If you have a question about our offerings, and then it goes on until it says, or press 9 if you want to talk to a customer representative, right? And that way, you're being routed through a very rigid menu-based navigation. And essentially, this is a one-way conversation. This is not really a dialogue, but it's the machine leading a caller through the process, right? And basically, in any case, it takes multiple questions to resolve a query. And the consequence is often a frustrating, impersonal customer experience, and that leads to a high call abandonment, right? So people, they just give up frustratedly and try to find other services or other opportunities to get their request solved. So I think we've all been there, and I think this experience is also one reason why some companies are hesitant to really tap into the power of conversational AI, because they think this is the best it can do. But that is absolutely no longer the case, right? And here comes conversational IVR. What this essentially means is a two-way conversation between a human and a machine. And this conversation is led by the customers. So instead of being routed through a rigid menu structure, a machine will simply greet the customer and say, hey, welcome to customer service. How can I help you today? And it's the same question that an agent would ask, right? If you would be directly connected to a human agent. So based on the customer's requests, the machine now analyzes in real time what is the customer's intent, who is calling, what are the essential keywords that were provided in the initial question, and based on all these AI extracted information, it takes the customer to the shortest resolution path, right? So from a customer's perspective, they can use free expression, they can engage in a natural conversation, and that of course leads to a delightful customer experience and a much more frictionless process compared to the standard IVR. What's important to note is that conversational IVR doesn't live in a vacuum. It should ideally be embedded in a much bigger game of customer service automation. And this is why Cognigy provides a holistic contact center solution where conversational IVR that you see here on the left-hand side of the chart is just the beginning of the customer service interaction. So I've just described how conversational IVR intelligently recognizes the customer's requests and then routes the customer accordingly. And two things can happen. One path, and that is the upper path that you see here on this chart, is routing customers to self-service. And in many cases, that is the preferred option for customers. If you have something like you need a password reset, or you want to know the status of your order, that is something that can be very well handled by smart self-service, so also by an automated contact center AI that helps the customer. And the beauty about this is this can be provided 24/7 with zero waiting time in a multitude of languages. So this is kind of an integrated process between conversational IVR and smart self-service. What can also happen is that a number of requests, and especially the more complex cases, the non-standard questions or the non-standard processes, are handled by human agents. And that is when there is a handover that occurs from the conversational IVR to the agent. So that agent takes the call. They are very well prepared to take that call. The customer is already identified and authenticated from conversational IVR, and the agent receives what is called a warm handover. So they know what the call is about. And during that call, they even receive AI assistance to make the process handling more efficient and more enjoyable for the end customer. So this is in a nutshell what we provide. Cognigy AI is an end-to-end offering to help enterprises deliver consistent and high quality customer support on any channel. And that is based on out-of-the-box conversation intelligence plus integrations into all sorts of backend and third-party systems. So what is in with conversational IVR? What is it really about, or what is in the box, right? So I've mentioned the intent recognition and the complex dialogue handling. This is the core AI piece of the offering that enables customers to use their language to express themselves in the way that they like and are taken the shortest resolution path. I've mentioned the integrated caller identification and verification, or in short ID&V, before. This means to securely identify who is calling and to authenticate them in a compliant and secure way. This can, for example, happen with multi-factor authentication. So customers receiving an SMS while they're on the call, they're reading out the security code, and are therefore passed on to the self-service or to the human agent. All of this is always happen contextual. So as soon as a customer is identified, the AI can look up the CRM record for that customer and figure out what is that customer probably calling about, or what did they call about in their last calls. We can also consider contextual signals like what is the time of the day, what's the current load in my contact center, what is the region where a customer is calling from, are they calling from a landline or from a mobile phone. So all of that can be used to provide personalized experiences and to treat customers individually based on their requests and based on the data that we have. Speaking of data, every automated conversation generates a ton of data points all over the place, and there's a lot to learn for organizations from these data points. That is why Cognigy's conversational IVR is coupled with an inbuilt analytics suite, and that helps create data-driven insights. So based on hundreds, thousands, or even millions of conversations, enterprises can understand what are customers calling about, what is their best path to resolution, when does customer happiness go up, and how can we improve the experiences in the future. So all of that is delivered from our inbuilt analytics suite. And of course, all of that is handled in a GDPR compliant way. Cognigy AI is AIC4 certified by the BSI, and that makes our platform obey to the highest enterprise standards when it's about compliancy and security. One last thing to note about conversational IVR is this. This is not a rip and replace solution. So we don't replace contact centers, but what we do is we plug ourselves on top of existing contact center or CCaaS or CPaaS solutions, and we enhance their capabilities with modern AI capabilities. So we have out-of-the-box connectivity, for example, to Genesys, to Avaya, to Cisco, to a bunch of others, and that makes our solution very quickly to implement, and we can achieve a very, very short time to market based on our standard integrations. And with that, I would like to hand it over to my colleague Alex so that everybody can see conversational IVR in action in our live demo. Alex, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. What I will now do is I will call the virtual agent with the phone that you can see on my screen and talk about an invoice topic. but before the virtual agent is allowed to talk to me, it has to identify and verify that it's actually me. So it will use my phone number and check in Salesforce if I'm a known customer, and then double check with my birthday. So let us have a look and call this phone number together.
How may I help you today?
Hey, good morning. Could you please send me my latest bill?
Nice to hear from you again, Alexander Teusz. Please tell me your date of birth for comparison.
Yes, sure. This is October 14th, 1994.
Thank you for your patience. The date October 14th, 1994 is correct. I also texted you directly with the link to your most recent bill.
Okay, thanks, but I see that the bill is way too high.
In this case, I would be happy to forward it directly to a colleague so that the issue can be clarified as quickly as possible. One moment, please.
Hello, Alex. This is Sebastian from Customer Service. How can I help you?
Hey, good morning. Thank you. I see that my latest bill is way too high.
Let me check. Well, Alex, I see as a premium customer, I think we can give you 50% discount. How does that sound?
That would be perfect. Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye. Let me now jump into Cognigy and show you how everything was developed here. What you can see on my screen now is Cognigy AI, the platform that I used in order to design the CCW award agent that you listened to a second ago. And the most important thing here is on the left side, the main concept behind this platform. Because first we built and designed the conversations like the greeting that we heard before. Then we deploy it to the channels that our customers would like to use in order to reach out to us. For example, the phone, WhatsApp, our website, our mobile app, and so on. And then on the long term, we test and optimize everything based on business intelligence. So based on the insights that our customers provide to us by calling us. And then last but not least, we can manage different things like languages, enterprise integrations into, for example, Salesforce, or the members of the project that are allowed to build something here. So let me start in the manage section and show you the different languages that we have in place. In this example, we used English, German, and Spanish so that the virtual agent would be able to understand and respond in English, German, and Spanish. And if a language is missing now, we can simply add it based on the 130 languages that we provide here. Next, we can have the enterprise integrations in place, like for example Salesforce that we used in order to identify and verify. We used for example Twilio for sending an SMS and Google Translator for a translation demo that I will show you in a second. But we could add way more things like ServiceNow, SharePoint, and other services that you might need in your call center to have an end-to-end automation in place. When I now open the build section and open the flows, you will see that we have a main conversation, then this real-time translation thing, and the functionality of showing the invoice, which was sent via SMS before. When I open the main flow, you will see that this is a logical conversation designer, business-focused design, so that I have multiple functions that I can simply add here, everything that you need for a conversation, like asking a question, checking something in a database, sending an email, sending an SMS, or you have simple things like greeting the customer with a message that you can simply change. And for example, we heard welcome to the agent before, but I could simply change this to welcome to Cognigy, save the node, and then you will see that the greeting text is now updated without deploying something on any server. Next to this, then you see that after the greeting, we, for example, look up the attention of the customer. So we try to understand what the customer is saying based on our natural language understanding, in this case, understanding English language. But we could do the same thing for the other languages that I have provided. So when I check the invoice, I will first search for the customer in Salesforce, as explained, and when I know him or her, we check with the birthday and then send the SMS. If I do not know the person, I will directly transfer to a human agent because maybe they need to get authenticated by a person directly. Let me now show you what you can see on the right side. This is the test chat in Cognigy, where I, for example, can have a chat with my virtual agent. I can call this agent in this test chat, or I can even follow a session live. So I can call my agent with my phone number, and then I can see the transcript here in order to make sure that everything is working properly. So let me first write a message, because when I now send hi here, you will see the welcome message in a format with an image that could be displayed on, for example, WhatsApp, and the version that should be used for voice-only channels like the telephone. I can reset everything and then provide in this live follow field my phone number, and now call the agent again. And then I will use the translation demo in order to show you real-time translation in this live follow feature with my phone. So I call the number again, and then you will see everything here.
To the insurance. How may I help you today?
Hey, good morning. Could you please send me the translation demo?
I would be happy to translate your next messages into other languages. What am I supposed to translate?
Hey, good morning. My name is Alex.
Guten Morgen. Mein Name ist Alex.
Please say something nice. Thank you.
I love this. Thank you very much.
Me encanta esto. Muchísimas gracias.
Okay, another time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Cảm ơn bạn rất nhiều vì đã có tôi.
Perfect. I now hung up the call, and you will see on the right side still that we have the transcript now here with all the information that the call center provides to us, like Avaya, Genesis, 59, 8x8, you name it. And the interesting thing here is that we translated the messages in real time. So when I scroll up again, the first thing was that my message, good morning, my name is Alex, was translated into German. Then the next message was translated into Spanish, and the last message in this case was translated into Vietnamese. So we could have a real-time translation scenario in our call center to make sure that our human agents understand what the customer is saying, and vice versa, or that even a customer from Taiwan, from Italy, other countries can simply talk to our virtual agent in their native language to make the point clear as possible, and then the virtual agent will understand because everything is translated automatically. So you do not have a language gap anymore. When I now continue here, all these experiences were provided to the customer, or deployed, better said, via the endpoints in Cognigy. Because here we, for example, have the voice endpoint as a voice gateway that connects Cognigy AI to your call center solution. And in this case, it's my phone connector. Then next, we could, for example, add this to WhatsApp or to any kind of other channels that you want to use at the same time. Then next to this, we would test and tweak everything, while the insights is the most interesting thing here, because we see how many active contacts we have, how many conversations we had in a specific time frame. We could even filter this by the version of our bot, the language specifically, or by a rating, so that we could understand why the Italian version is working better than the German version last week. As an example, we can see which channels people use in order to reach out to us, which are the most important topics for them, like checking the invoice, right? Or in which languages they are interacting. And then next to this, we could have a step explorer in place that shows you clearly what people do. And for example, 70% of all users were asked for the birthday, so we can open conversations that took this path, see the transcript with all the call center details, and now can see what maybe went wrong or why people said this and that. This should be with a short introduction to the tool and this demo. And Sebastian, thank you. I give it back to you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, Alex, for your amazing demo. Every time I find it super impressive to see what the actual outcome is from a customer experience perspective, but also how easy it is to orchestrate those experiences for a non-technical business user, as you've demonstrated in our low-code UI. So looking at the business benefits, why is it that conversational IVR sets up call and contact centers for success? Most importantly is that it's about delighting customers. Based on conversational IVR, you can increase the availability of your call and contact centers, you can cut the wait time and also lower the average handling time per call. I think in a nutshell, what's really important is that end customers can now use any language they like and express their wishes in any way they want, without having to answer repeated questions, without having to follow rigid menu structure. And that gives them a lot of freedom and also the feeling of empowerment. And all of that together really leads to an improved first call resolution rate, which is one of the most important metrics of the contact center. The second aspect is about empowering agents. Conversational IVR can take away a lot of the repetitive, laborious tasks from the agent and allows to handle them automatically by the machine. So that results to an increased call containment and reduces some of the agent workloads, giving them more wiggle room to solve the customer's problems and also be good at what human beings are typically good at, which is impress, empathy, bond with the customer, really understand their complex inquiries, and after all, help them out. One little detail here is that the call for an agent doesn't start in a vacuum, but it starts with a warm handover, which means the agent knows who is calling, why are they calling, what was previously discussed, and maybe even what the customer history is, and that gives them sort of a head start in any customer interaction. And finally, Cognigy's Conversational IVR is a plug-and-play solution for existing contact center infrastructure. There's no rip and replace needed with Cognigy. It plugs into the existing Avaya, Genesys, Cisco 8x8 and so on infrastructure that is there and enhances it with AI capabilities. On top comes the fact that non-technical users can adjust those flows in real time. They can look at the data and improve incrementally what the conversational IVR process does over time, and that results in an enhanced business agility that makes companies in their contact center context act much faster and increase more speed, while at the same time increasing customer satisfaction. Let's look at two use cases of conversational IVR that are currently out in the wild handled with Cognigy AI. The first one here is one of the leading insurance companies of the world. And their challenge was that phone is still the most used inquiry channel, but it's the least digitized customer service channel of them all. So what they wanted to achieve was improve the service speed, increase the availability, and also lower the operational costs. And we're looking at a very high volume here, which is larger than 100,000 calls per month. So Cognigy's conversational IVR solution was in the first project phase really focused on the ID and V process. So that automatic handling was supposed to do one thing, but to do that really good. And that was quite a success. Today, the automation rate for identification and verification sits about 95%. So 95% of all callers are handled by Cognigy's routines. And that reduced the average handling time by 15%. So from 330 seconds to 280 seconds. And that is already quite a success. But this customer sits only at the beginning of their journey, and more phases are going to be automated based on conversational AI. The second case here is a very large utilities company serving over 15 million customers all across the world. And their challenge was a lack of 24/7 support availability for support over the phone line, and they wanted to increase the service quality at any time and on any channel, and they also wanted to increase the engagement and eliminate waiting times. So their traditional solution was very manual focused. It started with kind of an old school standard IVR, then a little bit of a wait time, and then there was a step-by-step handling from various agents to identify and verify the customer, then look up at an invoice status, for example, here in a Salesforce CMS, then communicate that status back to the customer, and then follow up via email. With Cognigy AI, all of this was now brought together in one integrated process. So the IVR, the identification, verification, and the intelligent routing are all part of the first step of the customer interaction handling. Now, if the customer's intent is to understand an invoice status in Salesforce, that has been also fully automated with conversational AI based on Cognigy's out-of-the-box integration to backend systems, among them Salesforce CRM. The looked up status can then be automatically communicated back to the customer based on a dynamic response coming from the bot. And of course, a follow-up via email can also automatically be triggered from Cognigy AI so that that full process is now to 100% instantly available and fully automated. So there's zero waiting time and zero agent involvement for a process that previously required quite a lot of waiting and also a lot of manual labor. So for this use case, they now sit at about 70% automation rate for everything that is involved in this process. And that is also regarded as a big success for this enterprise and also for Cognigy's technology. And with that, we're already at the end of this little presentation. I hope very much that you enjoyed what you saw about Cognigy and Cognigy AI and Cognigy's conversational IVR technology. If you want to learn more about the product or the company, get in touch with us on cognigy.com/demo, where we can offer you a guided tour through the product or a connection with one of our solution experts to discuss if Cognigy AI might be a good fit for you too. If you want to explore the platform yourself, and if you want to take a look at all the features and capabilities that are beyond conversational IVR, part of our offering, go to signup.cognigy.ai. That's where you can start a free trial and explore everything in the product that might make a difference for you as an enterprise. With that, have a good day and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.